Welcome, everybody. It's your boy, the Versace Stoner, with another episode of VSW. Thank you, everybody. It's your boy, Versace Stoner, with the Sable here, and today's episode is on the verge of the I Wasn't There NCW Virtual Reunion 24-year anniversary. What a historic show that was, Versace. What a show it was indeed. You know, I love NCW. They're one of my favorite New England promotions. A lot of talent has walked through those doors and gone into, better places and on to bigger promotions. And it's all started in those NCW halls. They run a great show. And I was so excited, when I heard that NCW was returning. They came back with the behind closed doors. A great weekly episodic show, showcasing the talent, old and new talent that they've gotten.
I love their montages for Versace. It was great.
Exactly.
And it all led into
this, reunion show. They did a really good job putting it all together, and it was a stacked card, a stacked card. Couldn't be more excited for this one. And a lot of upset victories, in my opinion, I think happened last night. We had some shocks, And overall, it was just a great night for independent wrestling. So let's start off with that first match that we have on that card, Disabled Wolf.
Okay, Versace, the number one contender match for the NCW New England Championship down the road. Ike versus the biggest little man versus Foxy Campbell.
This was a really interesting match. You got, the newly reformed Ike. He kind of, he broke away from his commie partner there, in the 2020 season. And since then, I think he's been much better. He's been wrestling, actually, not just biting people, not just, gnawing. And he's actually doing moves, and he's, the fans are behind him. He's really turned his life around. With that being said, though, you had some really tough competition in this.
As Foxy Campbell was with the legendary Doc Ozone.
Doc Ozone is one of my favorite wrestlers. Managers, but I've seen him wrestle too, but he's one of my favorite managers. He's just an all-around great dude, but, he's so colorful and he's just fun.
Foxy Campbell's got quite the resume in NCW.
He does. He's an NCW, OG. Him and Osiris have gone to great heights at NCW, under Doc Ozone. And I see great things, in the future for Foxy Calvin as well. And who else? Who was the third man you said in this match?
The biggest little man away from his other partner for the Little Giants.
Oh, very good. Very, very good, And, those two are top talent, Robbie and Bullet Joe. They really are. But
former champs, too, in the tag team division.
They are, I remember. And I remember one time they came out, with Tomahawk couldn't be there. They came out with Perry Von Vicious, dressed like Tomahawk on the shoulders, and it was pretty cool. It was actually really cool at NCW at that show. But this was a great show, a great match to open up things and really, kind of showcase that talent. The winner was getting, a title shot at the New England Championship, and that was to be determined later in the night between, Dick Lane and the ace Mike Montero. So, it means something to win this match. It wasn't just, an empty three-way match for the sake of having it. I definitely, like I said, it was a great way to open the show. What did you think of the match?
I thought it was a great match. All three guys show their veteran sportsmanship. 2 out of those 3 were away from their tag team partner, especially Robbie the Giant. It could have been his debut singles pay-per-view match for NCW away from his partner. He did a great showing, but not enough as the man Ike picked up the victory.
And that is, who I kind of thought might have pulled this out. Like I said, after he got away from Dallas McCarthy and you kind of, went on the straight and narrow path, he definitely, has been able to prove himself as an NCW, wrestler and someone that should be, have that gold around his waist. I think I will, give a good matchup to whoever, is the NCW New England champion at the time. But, kudos to Ike. I think that was a big victory for him. It's great for his resume, and he's, like I said, he's really turned around.
And this match was one of the underrated matches on the card. Next, Versace, you got Alexander Lee with his red puppet friend versus Zachary Pierre Biu, the wine-drinking sensation.
Oh, yeah, the wino, ZPB. You got Alexander Lee, an other OG of NCW and of the Mainstay Posse, just a New England legend. Whether you see him in NCW, whether you see him in Limitless, whether you see him at the dojo, wherever you follow this guy, he's just a great individual and a great wrestler. I always like the violence that he brings to a match. He has a special way about it. It just reminds me of, some of the wrestlers of the past, of yesteryear, that I would get excited seeing in, like, ECW or, like, mid-90s, late 90s, WWE, WCW. Very, very talented individual. But you know what? ZPB has really gotten better this season. He wasn't that good maybe last year.
He was very charismatic as he fucked with the puppet the whole time, getting mind games with Alexander Lee. And Alexander Lee can be very vicious with his suplexes, and he can train quite the roster, can't he?
He can. He really can. But, ZPB reminds me of, like, Punch Drunk from, like, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. He's that guy that, the more he drinks, the better he gets. So, you got to have a strategy with him, and that's to take him out early before, he can finish that bottle of wine. If he finishes that bottle of wine, I just don't think, you have a chance anymore. I think it's like superhuman strength. It's like Popeye eating his spinach, Mario eating his mushrooms. He's super powered up, he just goes insane. It's wine mania all around, running rampant at NCW if you let him finish that bottle.
Mamma mia.
But, like I said, these two going at it, you can see the hate in each other's eyes for each other. Alexander Lee hates him.
And he got quite the victory over him.
He did. Well-deserved victory. Add that. It was a brawl. And a good matchup.
He's been on fire lately, including his victories against his dojo students on another show on IWTV, The Road. It kind of leads into his resume for NCW. He could go for the New England Championship someday, or even the heavyweight title of NCW.
Well, you got to remember, he is I think the only triple crowned champion for NCW.
Oof.
If I am correct. And that is what they said, So he does have the resume there as well. He's just an all-around star. Could he have another title run in NCW? Easily. And maybe we'll see that eventually. Maybe we will. You got him, you got his buddy there now, Dylan Nix, and, you see him behind closed doors. He's another very impressive wrestler. And a bunch of others, It's really just great. I always enjoy seeing Alexander Lee perform.
Are you ready to move on?
I sure am, Disabled Wolf.
So we got the next match on the card is Bullet Joe Barato versus 1/3 of the Prestige, 7 feet tall, Chaz Cashew.
The giant Chaz Cashew, I want to be as tall as him when I grow up. He is, just something else. Much more tall than his counterpart, Charlie. Just, a monster in the ring. His partner, not so much of a giant but has a giant enough heart to take on the 7-foot beast.
Ooh, that was a good. He definitely showed a great showing there.
He really did. And, these two are veterans as well in the game. You got one half of that tag team really just, giving it all that he's got. I love, I just love seeing him wrestle. I really do. I love seeing Bullet Joe, do his thing out there. He's very, 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 very talented. People can make jokes, people can think what they want, but he's very talented. Super tremendous, wrestler, and just a really overall another great person. All these people that are in NCW are just great people overall. Not just inside the ring and in their promos. I'm talking outside the ring. If you follow them on social media, you see what they're about. If you ever got to know any of them, I'm hoping by the end of the year I can have them all on our show. We can do interviews with them all. We did get signed, and like I said, I love these people. These people are great. But back to this matchup, Disabled. So, you had the Giant. This was almost like Jack and the Beanstalk kind of match.
Absolutely, but you had the Prestige getting upset with Chaz Cashew during the match, too.
You did. I think Shannon Thomas and B.I.G. are just kind of, testing the waters with Chaz. Obviously they want him for his height. He's 7 feet tall. That's impressive. That's like, when HBK brought Diesel into the WWF.
Kind of like what AJ Styles is doing with Omos right now.
Exactly. That's their Omos, their Chaz. But I don't know, I don't know how he's going to work long-term with the Prestige.
Absolutely. If it ain't working too great now, what about the future behind closed doors?
Exactly. But how did, Chaz fare up against Bullet Joe?
He did lose his match to Bullet Joe.
And that's the thing. Bullet Joe was able to slay the Giant. And that's what I think the fans were definitely behind Bullet Joe. I think that definitely helped. Chaz is just not liked right now. And for many reasons, First, I think he's kind of a bully. He's picking on one of the, he's a 7-foot guy. He's picking on everybody.
Or doing the dirty work of Chan Thomas and the BRG.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Then he jumps in league with the Prestige. Another tag team that's not very liked at NCW right now. I just don't see it. If he's trying to get over, he's not doing it the right way. If he is, then you know what? So be it. I mean, I am a Chaz fan. Like I said, I want to be as tall as him when I grow up.
Potential.
I'm always a fan of a big man and a tall man. It brings me back to, back in the day when people actually had some height and width and girth. But anyways, let's move on to our next matchup, Disabled. Like I said, this show was so stacked with matches.
Speaking of stack, you got an up-and-coming performer that is really taking advantage of the pandemic. You got the formerly Ricky Madero's Ricky Smokes versus the Love Duke.
Ricky Smokes, I have to say, then he didn't, I don't know what happened to Ricky Starks, but once he became Ricky Smokes, he just has a new attitude and a new something about him, a new aura. I am a fan of him. He's definitely, got potential in the game. But he went up against Love Doug, the living Cupid.
Living Cupid, he just got his fresh off a victory on the road. He loses so many of his matches, but I think he's starting a new streak.
I think he's had a turnaround. Losing doesn't matter about him. He's looking for love, and sometimes you have to lose in that game. You have to keep playing until you find it. He's finding it right now in NCW, and it's finding him. I love Doug, and that is the truth. I do
too, Versace.
He's
looking at all the wrong places in the wrestling world, ain't he?
He is, but you know what? He's one of the most charismatic stars to have emerged in the New England scene right now, and he's just sweeping it across. everybody I talk to is just falling for this guy, and I can see why. Every promotion that has him, he's just killing it. And NCW is no different.
And he sneaked away the victory again.
He did again now, making him 2-0 in the NCW. That is
Holy
great.
Cow! Forget the Gilbert streak. Maybe he'll be hitting a Goldberg streak.
They'll be singing "Love Doug, Love Doug, Love Doug." But yes,
Ricky had a lot of trash talking to him about how, and Love Doug kissed him in the cheek to distract him for the pin.
He did. Ricky Smokes ran his mouth, and I think that's where he got into trouble. If he just wrestled and kept his mouth shut, I think he would have been fine in that match. He let his mouth and his anger and his agitation get the best of him. And with that, Love Doug capitalized. And that's what Love Doug will do. He will capitalize. He is a very talented wrestler himself, and he knows how to win matches. He hasn't had the best of luck, but in NCW, he is very lucky. He's Mr. Lucky. Number 7 himself, Love Doug. And congratulations, again on that victory, Love Doug. If you are listening, because, we love you here at the VSW. We really, really do.
Disabled loves you. And next match for Sachi. This is a hybrid of a regular match and a cinematic match. So we got the legendary singer, American Idol wannabe, as you should call it, Tim Kilgore versus NCW Bruiserweight Nick Stapp, and kind of what is a cinematic match. It actually started at a night out away from the show at a bar before the pandemic started.
Let me just say
Talk about long-term storytelling.
Let me just first of all talk about this match for a second. First of all, you have, two very... First of all, I've never seen a theatrical match in NCW before. I don't know if this was the first one. I'm pretty sure it is. With that being said, a lot of people didn't like this match, may have not have understood this match, didn't get it, may have went over their head, might have been too trippy for them. I don't know. I'm the Versace Stony, I was pretty...
I love those type of matches.
I'll just say, I was,
humor.
a couple, dabs deep into this by the time this match rolled in. I was definitely feeling the vibes of this match. And I get what was going on, You have these two singing karaoke. They're going head to head. You got them wrestling in the ring. You got all sorts of chaos and pandemonium. But it's all done within the harmony of theatrics.
That's like American Idol. Someone like a William Hung, who thinks he's as good as like Paul Abdul, for example.
Well,
this is Tim Kilgore.
You got to remember, you're at a bar. Nobody sounds good at a bar. You got to be so drunk. Everybody's drunk. They think you sound like good, but you don't really sound good. And neither does anybody else in the bar. It's just the alcohol working its magic. You working your own magic in your head, and
Well, I remember those days for Sachi.
Oh yeah, but like I said, these two did have some actually, talent on the mic. They could sing pretty good. Tim Kilgore, always a pleasure to see. I have to say, he really brings it out. He has some passion and fire, and he brings it out,
It's kind of remind me of Maki Ito from Japan that debuting in AEW.
A little bit of Maki Ito, a little bit of Gold Dust in the early days. A little bit of Jeff Hardy. I think he's all three wrapped in, plus himself.
Plus a little bit of Blue Mania attire.
He's got a little bit of that too. He's got it all in there, but he's, very technically sound. He knows his wrestling. He knows his moves. He's, like I said, he's very well trained. And, he's probably one of my, favorite New England stars, really. Here, in NCW. I love watching him wrestle. I've also, seen him at Proving Ground. He's very good there as well. But this was a great matchup. Nick Stapp getting the victory in the end. And And like I said, it was a very bizarre match. I know the fans might have not gone into it. I enjoyed this
I
match
loved
thoroughly.
it.
Like I said, it was weird.
It was
fun.
the right place in the card, too.
It was. It was everything, that a weird kind of match should be. We don't get to be there as fans. Take advantage of that. Make it a weird match, Do some crazy shit. Who cares? We love it. I do anyways, I think it was good. That's my verdict, But Nick Stab with the victory on it. And what a great time that show, It just really, like I said, in between they were doing montages with the history of NCW. It was
showing
just great.
Anthony Green in there, too.
Oh, yeah, him and all the people that, like I said, that have walked through those doors, whether they're still in the company or they've gone to another bigger promotion or wherever they've gone to. It's just great seeing the history of the NCW. Really love it. What's the next matchup? Just say, Wolf.
So the next matchup we have is it basically revolves around the manager, sneaky bastard Kevin Castro, as you had before the match in backstage segments all night. Steven the Turtle, Dick Lane, Pimp Daddy, Apple Cinnamon, and Isana, all betting hundreds of dollars on who would win all the matches until Kevin Castro guaranteed that Lumberjake and his partner will win as long as he's there. And the next match is considered a grudge tag team
It is.
match.
This is talking about long storytelling,
It was Lumberjake and Riot Kellen Thomas, actually managed by the heel guy Kevin Cash, versus the Cash Brothers in a grudge match.
The Cash Brothers, who do you got there? Heavy hitter there.
Heavy hitter, you got the High Life Davey Cash.
And Davey, let me just tell you, first of all, both of these two are great, but, you got to remember, Castro is their boy. He's always been their boy. These have been a trio, and they have been torturing Lumberjake for years now, it seems. Okay, for years. At the 2020, event, they threw all sorts of shit at him. They've been bothering him, harassing him, doing all sorts of stuff. This has been going on for a while now. Like I said, long storytelling here. This has been going on for a very long time. And all of a sudden, the pandemic is, whatever, wrestling has returned a little bit. And we see a very, very apologetic Castro towards Lumberjake. And, I don't think Lumberjake buys his shit. I just don't. If he does, he's a fool. How can you trust Castro? You just can't.
He is just so sneaky. I think he's purposely trying to get NCW in control from John Casey. But that's me.
Hey, I hope not. I would hope not to see that. I really wouldn't. I like NCW ownership right where it is. But any which way, like I said, these two have had beef. Lumberjake picking a very, very, talented tag partner with the Riot Kellen Thomas, another NCW OG, and, he just killed it, I think,
He actually got the roll-up win from one of the Cash Brothers as they were going to take the baseball bat, and you thought Kevin Castro had a change of heart, but in reality he was pulling an act. He let Lumberjake and his team get the win because what happened was he backstabbed, just like Seth Rollins backstabbed the Shield to join the Authority and back in the day with WWE. It gives you that vibe.
I mean, like I said, you can never trust Castro. He sprayed him in the eyes, did he not? You never can trust Castro. You never should. I don't think Lumberjake did. They should have barred him from the ring. They shouldn't have allowed him there. But they did. He was there, and, his intentions were met at the end of what he wanted to do. That apology wasn't so sincere. Where do you think this is going to go from here, to say, Wolf?
I honestly think that he's going to create a new stable, and you're going to try and get a Survivor Series type Bill, because he wants to try and take control of the whole NCW. He stole so much money from Steven the Turtle and Pimp Daddy Apple Cinnamon, Dick Wainwright, that one of them should have won all those $100 bills. And this guy, all he cares about is money and himself.
Very true there, very, very true. This will be an unfolding story, I'm sure, on Behind Closed Doors.
You gotta watch every Thursday to find out what's gonna happen.
I don't miss a single episode. Every Thursday night, 7 p.m. on YouTube. It's always a great time on there. You go in there, if you're into the live chat, you'll see the talent talking. They'll be talking about their matches sometimes, they'll talk to each other, they'll interact with you. It is like walking into an NCW show. You'll also see other fans. You can interact with them just like you can in a regular show. They'll ask you, hi, how are you doing? It's great. There is no negativity in there. Nobody is fighting each other. There's no down talking. It is an old-fashioned, good time virtual wrestling experience. I love it every time. That's just how last night's show went. Depending on how you watch it, I got onto the YouTube, and I was able to talk in there, and it was just great.
Ready for the next one? It is the second annual. It's Ballroom Blitz. It is Ballroom Blitz. So you got, it's every woman for themselves, but it's a combination of like a Royal Rumble and the Slobber and the Gauntlet match all in one. And you got the participants, the Scrunchy Squad, which is Becca, has been on a roll with Little Mean Kathleen, with Paris Van Dale versus Suplex Sweetheart, who was on our 50th episode. Isana versus Sarah Teller versus Jesse Nolan versus Big Juicy versus Fafo with former Platinum Honey Angel Sinclair and her partner Susanna Louise, who they took a lot of control in the beginning of this match. Oh, they're
a dominant-ass tag team. Like, no cap, they could, if they ever had a women's tag team title, they would be them. Angel Sinclair's a veteran in this game, and they're just taking it to new heights. These women are great. Every woman in this matchup deserved to be there. And I love how NCW has spotlighted them all.
They're trying to showcase them all in one match to get them looking forward to
the first Ballroom Blitz was very exciting. I was there live. We had a very surprise entrant at the end. Stephen Lust joined it, talking
about... But no males this time around.
No males this time, but last time he did come in talking to Isana, you entered into the Big City Rumble. I'm coming into the Ballroom Blitz. Let's do this. And they did it, And last year, the Scrunchy Squad came out victorious and celebrated together as they were left in the ring. This year, not much different, everybody tried, like you said, FAFA very dominant in the beginning, but as it went on and the Scrunchy Squad members started to roll in, I believe that it just got,
Well, Big Juicy's the one that eliminated them, I believe.
They did, but like I said, as the match got on later and the Scrunchy Squad got more and more involved, I think they started to take dominance. Big Juicy's, one of my favorite wrestlers. She's really killing it there right now, and every matchup I see with her, it's very exciting. It's a great addition right now to NCW. I really enjoy, the people that they have brought in is just really, just really been great. Great choices, if I must say so myself. But again, like I said, this match, ending with, Becca and Little Mean Kathleen
making Isana tap out, unfortunately.
Made Isana tap out, and they were left in the ring, and they would not, one would not bow before the other, so they both won.
And there's a big announcement that came right after that, right, Versace?
Huge announcement. The NCW is going to have a tournament for their first ever women's championship, and Little Miss Mean Kathleen will be facing Becca to see which one of those women will be into that tournament. And I'm sure there'll be other matches, obviously, But this is great news for the NCW. They already have, a world title, the New England title,
And a tag title.
now the women's title. That's great. This is great news. The women
emergence
deserve it.
of the Scrunchy Squad have been a big story since the pandemic started.
You got to remember, NCW was the first to have the Scrunchy Squad. Yes, it's been a big phenomenon across New England, but I don't know how many people really realize that had started last year in, the Ballroom Blitz of 2020, season opener. That really is where it all began, when these, women got together with Armani Kaios, and everybody got together, and that was it. They were them. They were the Scrunchy Squad. Ran by Becca, who, I have to say is one of the, is really, talking about someone who's capitalized. She's done amazing things during this pandemic. Going from basic Becca to very not so basic at all, holding titles right now and everything else.
Passing out some scrunchies, man.
She's killed it everywhere she goes, and NCW is no different. So I'm really looking forward to her match with Little Mean Kathleen. Both of those women are tremendously talented, and they can give a really great match.
Just like Aizano was our 50th episode interviewee.
Oh, I'm sure she is going to be in that women's tournament too.
Those suplexes are really good in the ring.
She is. And she could make it all the way to the top. She is one of my picks that could win this title. There's so much talent in the women's division in NCW. It could be anybody's game.
And are you ready to move on?
I am.
So, we get the NCW New England Championship with the champion, the Shining Wizard, with Steven the Turtle, Dick Lane versus former Middlesex Express tag partner and...
Oh, no. You're talking about the, what match are you doing? You're talking
it's
the
New England title.
You're talking insane Dick Lane with
versus
Mike
Montero
versus the Ace, Mike Montero. And I have to say,
words slipped out of my mouth.
No worries, it happens, especially when we're live. This was a great match.
One of the best matches of the night.
Sponsored by Mac Tax Show. They're hosting shows. They got podcasting. They got wrestling. They got it all. Great guy. Hans. Great person. But yes, this was one of my favorite matches of the night. Yeah, the New England title on the line. Dick Lane had won it by, was it a fluke? I don't know. But, he cashed in when Montero was down and out in the straitjacket, won the title. He only got to defend it once in 2020 against Tom Kilgore. And then, he got taken out. Ryan Thomas defended it for him against...
In the debut episode of Behind Closed Doors, I might add.
Yeah, he took it out. But now, he faces the Ace. And
the Ace didn't even want to wrestle at all. He just wanted it handed to him.
No. And the Ace is no joke, okay? The Ace is one of the best wrestlers that are in New England right now. Mike Montero is a top talent. And, he proved himself last night why he is... two-time now New England champion.
One of the longest reigning New England champions in history.
He is, but now he won it again, defeating Dick Lane. Very devastating for all the Dick Lane fans out there. I'm a fan of both guys, but I felt bad for Dick. I really did.
Bad night. They both lost their money and Dick Lane's title.
Exactly. It was not a good night for Dick. I felt really bad, though. But Dick Lane, always a pleasure to watch. He's a great wrestler. Win, lose, or draw, he's always entertaining. But like I said, the age is right now on fire. And, he has a lot to prove in NCW. I think he, eventually is going to go after that World Heavyweight title. So, watch out NCW, This kid's on fire.
Absolutely. But not enough fire to let up another fire alarm.
No. And speaking of fire, that brings us to our tag team match. It was
Which
actually
is a VSW podcast official match.
We actually sponsored this match, and it was Detox versus Waves and Curls for the NCW title.
And Stephen Luss versus Jalen Brandon and And Travion Jordan of Waves and Curls, an up-and-coming, fastest-rising tag team in the New England indie scene.
Exactly. You got, it all started.
Very fast
It all
match,
started
too.
a while back, though, when Ricky Medeiros and Jason Devine, we found out Jason Devine could not wrestle. He was injured. Ricky Medeiros, needed a partner to defend these titles. He ran in, he kind of called out the Middlesex Express, and said he wants one of them. Well, Stephen Lust threw his partner out the ring and said, "I'm your man. I'm going where the gold is." I honestly think that, in my opinion, maybe Ricky went with the wrong one. I think Pete...
And they lost in a wake-up call to Waves and Curls in a very quick match, I might add.
There was, but I believe that, listen, if it was Ricky Medeiros and P-Deck that went up against Waves and Curls, maybe they would have had a better chance.
What was my man Pimp Daddy?
Oh, he wasn't there, after that, throwing him out the ring, But he'll be back. He will be back. Look for him on Behind Closed Doors. But, this tag match, I just don't know. Like I said, the chemistry wasn't really there for me between Lust and Medeiros. But it definitely was there on Waves and Curls, They are, like I said, one of the hottest tag teams in New England.
It was only their second match in NCW.
It really is, but they are already NCW Tag Team Champions.
Oh,
What
my.
a night of celebration for them. Trey will be dancing, that is for sure. These guys are great, great, great people. I love Waves and Curls. Not that I don't love Detox. They're also one of my favorite New England tag teams. And I love you, Jew, Stephen Lust. Even though you blew the match for the Dirt City, it's okay. It's okay.
There was a little dysfunction after that match, too, Versace.
There was. Like I said, I just don't think the chemistry was there. Maybe, like I said, it would have worked out better with PDAC. Maybe it would not have. Maybe it wouldn't have worked out at all. Maybe, it was never meant to be. But, at the end of the day, hopefully, we get a healthy Jason Devine. And, Detox can return to its former glory as NCW Tag Team Champions. But right now, it's the era of Waves and Curls. And what an era it's going to be. Like I said, these two are the top stars of New England right now in the tag division. And they're just killing it out there. I even have some of their merch. They're just great. They are great.
And now for the main event of the I Wasn't There virtual reunion.
This was, sponsored by Zeke Dane Photography. He does all the photography.
Phenomenal photo shoots.
Great photo shoots. Really check out his work. I really, really, really suggest that. But anyways, you had Vicious Vern Vicalo versus...
defended his title against not one, but two members of the Prestige up-and-coming tag team. Former NCW champion Brett Ryan Gosling, BRG, and his Prestige partner, the Natural, Shannon Thomas. What was a great match.
Shannon Thomas could be the next breakout star in New England. This dude is just on top of his game. Best smile in professional wrestling. BRG is another one, he had a very, I would say, successful title reign in NCW, and it went on for quite a bit. But, Vern Vicalo is not a force to be reckoned with.
He even tore a fire alarm during the match where he won it at that last show anyone never went to last year, huh, Versace?
We still don't know who pulled that fire alarm, but somebody tried to do it. But he won that match. He beat Channing Thomas at that 2020 season opener.
And Shannon Thomas would have won if it wasn't for the fire alarm on the ride to open the brand new Behind Closed Doors series.
Well, yes, that he might have lost it, but, believe it or not, I think Vern needs to, needs to move on. He did get the victory last night over both of these guys, and I think he just needs to move away from them. Channing Thomas, you've had your chance now. How many times? Stay back, stay away. Let Vern Vicalo be champion now. and let him pick some fresh
I
talent
would love to
wrestle.
see a grudge match between Shannon Thomas versus BRG if they break up the Prestige.
That would be a great matchup, but I mean, I think there's many more people that, are in line for Vern's title right now. You might have a returning Osiris coming back. He's a great contender for the NCW
You
World
got
title.
Alexander Lee, who looked dominant, or Nick Stapp.
You could have Nick Stapp. You could have Alexander Lee. You could have Vern, facing any of these guys. So, I mean, they have a lot of opportunity. Vern's a fighting champion. He's not going to back down from a challenge. He's not he doesn't back down, okay? He's like I said, he's a fighting champion. He's just one of,
He's a great champion for NCW. He's the kind of guy that can be in a higher tier promotion in New England very shortly.
I mean, I own every single one of this man's shirts, and I have to say, he's one of my favorite wrestlers ever since I first saw him. Very charismatic, but, also very talented in the ring, explosive, and he really knows how to get the crowd pumped up and behind him. A very strong victory last night, like I said. That's why I think Shannon Thomas and BRG just need to move away from that, Vern, you deserve to just let them leave you alone.
Congratulations on retaining the title.
And thank you, John. You put on a great NCW show. You really put it out for the fans. All the talent did.
And all the behind-the-scenes video package people. That was phenomenal, all the old tunes.
Everybody that, worked on this project that you guys put together, just a tremendous job. That's why I love NCW. The passion is there.
The most underrated promotion in all New England.
Easily, I go to almost every show when it's around, and I suggest other people do. If you miss this pay-per-view, it's going to be available soon on their website to purchase and rent. I suggest, renting it or buying it, whatever's cheaper or more affordable, whatever you want to do. But, definitely check it out. It's worth it. That's all I can really say. NCW puts on quality shows. The talent is phenomenal. Some of the greatest people that you'll ever meet. And it's, like I said, it's just lovely promotion. Cannot ever say anything bad about NCW. I just can't find anything to say. Other people might feel different than me. That's fine, but
I love how they're getting very edgier with their shows.
They are, they are more edgier. And, I think the fans are behind that. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what, keeps going on with Behind Closed Doors. They're talking about doing another show. So, let's see how it goes out. Eventually fans will be back. We'll be able to go back to these shows live, sit in the front row and get all the action. But, for now we're on this kind of weekly and monthly, pay-per-view and weekly shows. And I'm okay with that for a little bit. It's very entertaining. They give us another side of NCW that, we didn't see before the pandemic. We didn't see all these weeklies. We just saw, what we saw when we go to a live show. So, there is some pros to this all. And I really do like it.
Absolutely, Versace. I'm getting very impressed that they're kind of ditching their family-friendly promotion gimmick. They're going with an edgier barroom brawl blitz. We were supposed to go to a bar club NCW show before the pandemic wiped out the world.
Oh, yeah. I went to that show in 2020, and the next day the world closed down. That was it, But they're going to do big things. They're going to go back to doing, fans eventually. And we'll get all the fun and excitement back, into the arenas and halls that they wrestle in. I can't wait for that. We here are just about out of time. Thank you, everybody, for listening, and I hope you enjoy the NCW Reunion show.
And please stay safe this weekend, and don't pull your local fire alarm building.
No. So have a good night, everybody. Versace Stoner out.
Disable out.